The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Hump Day in the Riv.
Yep.
And what a day it is. We got all kinds. This show is going to be loaded with stuff, right?
Well, I'm going to address the elephant in the city.
The elephant in the room.
No, it's in the city.
In the city.
Okay, because yesterday on WSAR, Ann O'Neill Souza said that she has not received a pay raise since she's taken her job. She's only received her COLA. And she gave us the numbers of 1.5%, 1.9%, and 3.9%.
Yep.
So we calculated out what that was. $78,000, and these numbers are for discussion purposes only.
Wow, where have I seen that before? Oh, for discussion
purposes only.
Magic money numbers.
Yeah, magic money numbers. Now, according to ordinance, the cap on the salary is $78,000. Times 1.5% is $1,170. Add that to the $78,000, that gives you $79,170 times 1.9%, which gives you $1,504.23. Add that to the number, and you'll get $80,674.23. Multiply that by 3.9%, and that gives you $3,146.29. Add that together, you get $83,820.52, which is a total increase of $5,820.52. Again, these numbers are for discussion purposes only. Now, a COLA is a raise. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, look, I love it when these people go on and talk because they hang themselves.
Right.
They show their ignorance of anything that's real. They don't know anything because they've always gotten their pay raises and their jobs through politics. They've never negotiated a contract. They have no idea what they're talking about. Okay? It's a COLA. It's a COLA. It's a pay raise. If you look up what a COLA is, it's an adjustment to your salary or benefits. When retirees get a COLA, it increases their pension. When employees get a COLA, although they abuse it, politicians, they abuse COLAs because they use them to give their friends pay raises. A COLA is supposed to increase a salary due to inflation to help them keep up with inflation. But when you get a COLA, it increases your salary. That goes into your salary. It becomes part of your salary. Therefore, it's a salary. And if you read the damn law that I gave you, I don't know how many times, it says if you increase the salary, it has to be appropriated. So there's her first mistake. She received a raise, a COLA, a salary increase. I don't care what you call it. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. It's not a turkey. She received an illegal pay raise because they know this. They're spinning you around with this semantic debate. It's a COLA, it's this, it's that. No. It's an increase in salary. When you go to the bargaining table, listen, let me tell you something. I negotiated for 24 years with the City of Fall River as the president of the Firefighters Union. And I still have people around my bargaining committee, and I can bring them to testify to this fact. Every single time we went to the bargaining table, the first thing you discuss are the rules, how many meetings you have to introduce proposals. And the second thing and the first thing about the contract you discuss is wage demands. Every single time I went, The union will forego any further attempts to get percentage pay raises if you give us an automatic cost of living raise. And they all looked at me every time I said that and said, are you insane? You're not going to get that because it costs too much money. If you remember, the city council and the mayor had them, and they ditched them because they were getting too much money and he knew the public would turn heat up. But it's okay for a mayor to give his friends COLAs. The bottom line is, and the COLA was illegal, because I hate to tell you this, Ann, but last year when Paulie sent down your increase to be approved, they didn't approve it. So your pay raise last year was not funded. And Paul Coogan cannot fund a COLA. He can't fund a salary. He can't fund a damn thing. That is the city council. So all your numbers are off. Your pay's off. The budget they approved is off because they took your 3.9% and they applied that to your base from last year, which isn't your real base, because you were getting paid with money that was misappropriated. Show me the city council's appropriation. It didn't happen. Show me a supplemental appropriation. That didn't happen either. Look at chapter 44, section 33A. Stop going on a radio and making yourself look stupid and showing your ignorance of the process. That's why when I went in front of the council, I talked about process. This is the process. The mayor proposes, and he proposed your pay raise. And listen, I don't want anybody saying, oh, he hates her, he doesn't want her to get a pay raise. Listen, I can have my own personal opinion, and so can CJ if she's worth the money she's being paid. But nobody can dispute the fact that well, they do. They dispute the fact that we have to follow the law. The fact is, people can be saying she's worth more, she's worth less, that's exactly how much she's worth. That's irrelevant. What is relevant here is the executive branch of the city of Fall River somehow paid her when the money was not appropriated. Because I know they weren't appropriated. Show me the action of the city council to approve what he sent down last year. They didn't.
Well, I'm going to give you an argument that you will probably hear from the administration. The city council approved the budget. The pay raise was in the budget. Therefore, by default, they approved the appropriation.
No, you can't, no, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. Number one, and we'll find out in court.
Yeah.
Number one, that's not the way it works. So you read the law, and I'll read it. It says that, number one, the definition of an ordinance is it's a permanent regulation. So if it's permanent, that means it's permanent. It's not discretionary. You can't just add money. It's not a de facto thing. No, you've got to physically appropriate that money. And it's got to be appropriated, not in a total budget, because that's a scam. So now the mayor can throw in any kind of money he wants, and it's a de facto funding of it because the council's, and I'll tell you, I called Brad Kilby again because he's an attorney, and I know him. And I wanted to tell him that my disappointment for him, because he's an attorney and he can't read law, that's putting the cart before the horse. So what you're saying is, even though the law says that if somebody gets a rate, read it, damn it, read it. It says, and it goes on to say, if somebody gets a pay raise, a COLA or whatever, increase their salary, it says that there has to be a supplemental appropriation to fund it. You have to go down and physically fund it. That ordinance still exists. It still says $78,000, and that is a permanent regulation until you change it. And the council has to change it, not you. That's what the law says. The law says they have to appropriate the money, but they have to appropriate the money, and that appropriation has to be reflected in the permanent regulation in order to make it, because all you people do is figure out ways to rob money. I've heard everything about, we give them what they get for collective bargaining. Collective bargaining isn't predicated on the consumer price index. It's predicated on collective bargaining, which I can't go, CPI in the state's 8%, we're going to get 8%. No, I have to go with fire departments in my universe, 9 other cities approximately the size of Fall River. I have to prove its ability to pay, and then I have to get that thing funded. Collective bargaining is not based on, does anybody in that entire city hall know how a CPI is figured? You know how they do it with Social Security? They got 2 methods. One of them is for urban workforce.
Right.
And that's the main one, urban workforce. There's another one that's kind of peripheral. There's also other CPIs. You got Northeast Consumer Price Index. They're regional. You have regional consumer price. You got a whole bunch of stuff. And they do Willie, 3-card Willie, Master the Fast Shuffle. They're conning everybody. They're conning everybody. Oh, it's a COLA. No, it's an increase in your salary. A COLA increases your salary. Your salary has to be appropriated. An ordinance is permanent until it's changed.
Well, I'll give you an argument here. Okay, if this COLA is not a pay raise, then it's not part of her salary. Therefore, it should not be used to calculate her pension, right? If that's her argument.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the thing is, remember, so what they're saying is, this is how stupid they are. Like this, it's going to hold up in court.
Right.
What you just said. Their thing is going to be, they appropriated the budget. So that makes it okay. Well, last year, they appropriated a budget with a pay raise in it, a COLA. So we'll make you happy. We'll call it a COLA. But once it gets into your paycheck, it's your salary. We'll call it a COLA. They approved a budget that had misappropriated funds in it because they didn't appropriate the money for that number. They have to appropriate it. Paul Coogan and all his little horses and all his little men can't appropriate anything. It's a misappropriation of funds because the executive branch can't give them. They can give you a contract, and if the appropriating authority does not appropriate the money, that contract is not funded, and therefore it is null and void, and you have to go back to bargaining. That's the way it is. So last year's funds, they're saying that even though the city council physically said no, that because they approved the entire budget, that makes it yes. No, it doesn't make it yes. It makes the city council stupid because they don't understand that. They saw that in the budget. They said, and the only one was Michelle Dion because she said, is this illegal? And Rumsey looked at the floor. They know it. You're going to have them de facto appropriate money? That's duplicitous. And it's a betrayal of the public trust. It's an end around. This is absolute crap. And they go on there and they try to spin it. But look at it, and even the numbers don't make sense, CJ. You made the numbers. You came out to 83. Her salary's 87.
Allegedly 87.
Allegedly. For discussion purposes
For
only.
discussion
But we were
purposes
told
only.
87 and change.
Right.
So what does that mean? She said she got 1.5, 1.9, 3.9. Does that mean that she got a pay raise before she even got the job? They increased the pay. Then they gave her these 3 because the numbers don't the numbers do not add up.
Right.
And just for the sake of argument, people, if you want to get more upset, this is why COLAs are really not good. Nobody in the city should get a COLA. That's why the city council dumped them. Because right now, What union got 3.9 for a year?
None.
Somebody please. I'm not talking about the people that went in and did that illegal bargaining for themselves that they approved again. It's violation of 150E.
Yep.
That got themselves $16,000 pay raises and $19,000. I'm talking about the rank and file. Please, police department, fire department, DCM, anybody. Tell me, please, and I will correct it. Tell me if you got 3.9% in any 1 year, because this is for 1 year. 3.9%. And you know what the projected COLA is for this year? I looked it up. 8.9.
I know.
So are we going to give her 8.9? And while you take this away, I'm going to do the math, because I'm not, even this is a low figure. She's getting
Right.
87. But I'm going to get what her salary is going to go up to if she gets 8.9 on the 83.
Well, what's very interesting is if she is receiving 87 plus, that's over $9,000 more than the base pay. Okay? That is capped by city ordinance. $9,000 more. I don't know if she's worth it. I don't know if she's not worth it. All I know is it's not within the ordinance. And when it was sent down to the City Council Committee on Ordinance and Legislation, they said no. They said no. And they sent it back to the mayor. And then it got sent back to the committee, and the committee approved 2 items, I believe, on that, and then they sent it back to the mayor again.
You're right, but let me just quickly say this so you can really get infuriated and go. I just did 8.9 on 83.8. That is $7,460. So her salary, if she gets a COLA, what the COLA is being projected, and remember, these numbers are strictly for discussion.
Discussion purposes only.
Discussion purposes only. 83. I'm working off these discussion numbers. Her salary in the next year's budget will be $91,280 for discussion purposes.
And that's if it's at 83.
For a secretary.
Right.
Because not too many people remember that job was a secretarial job that was given a title to give someone who was connected to the mayor very closely, let's say, a pay raise, a massive pay raise by changing it. So we can do that to the janitors by changing their title to sanitary engineer and giving them all $91,000 for being janitors. So, and that might be even more justifiable than this, but this is outrageous. This is outrageous. This is a violation. He's taking care of his people, and in an inflation, that's the problem with COLAs. They work in reverse. When everybody else is getting hammered and not getting raises and dying, and we're getting shrinkflation, everything's smaller. The soda cans are this big now. They're putting less cereal in the cereal boxes, and they're charging you the same thing or more. So, the average person is getting killed, and this is the way they take care of that people. And I'm saying, look, you can say that's totally justified. Fine. The city council can say it. My personal opinion is, number one, it's not justified for that position and what it entails. But that's just my opinion. But what isn't my opinion is that the executive branch of the city of Fall River does not have the right to appropriate money. I don't care what he gives her. If the city council doesn't give them the money, they cannot give it to her, because then they're misappropriating money. And what they're saying when they say that if they approve the budget, they have de facto approved it, is they're saying that it's okay to misappropriate money. So, all right, CJ, take it away.
Well, the funny thing is, as you've said this as well, we're looking, Social Security, is not going to get an 8.9% COLA.
No.
The retirees are not going to get an 8.9% COLA.
Well, we're going to get $360, period.
That's it. So, and that's if the city wants to give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay? And when they say they don't want to give it to you because they can't afford it, turn around and say, take it away from Ann O'Neill Sousa's paycheck.
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead, CJ.
I mean, because that's just ridiculous. And as you said, do you think she's worth it? Do you not think she's worth it? That's up to you. That's not up to me. That's not up to Chip. That's up to you. If you think she's worth it and she's doing the job appropriately and she deserves $90-some-odd thousand for the job, then hooray, she gets the $90,000. But if you think that she doesn't deserve it because of the cap set forth in ordinance, which is the law, then hooray for you, you've got it right. And guess what? These are the issues that are going to be put in a lawsuit against the city of Fall River, against Paul Coogan, and 8 city councilors who voted for this budget and who decided that it's okay to violate the law and misappropriate funds.
Because that's exactly what it is. I just did some quick math. The pay raise she'll get if they give her 8.9 is the equivalent to what 21 retirees will get for the year.
There you go.
For the year. Now, if we get up to that 91,000, and again, these figures are only for discussion, and they're not exact because I'm not doing the 91,000. Now, if she gets her $91,000 salary next year, that will be what the annual COLA will be for 253 retirees. Wow. 253 low-income retirees are going to get what she got for a pay raise, not for a for a salary. Her salary would pay almost, like I said, 253. So, I mean, this is outrageous.
And think about it.
They don't care. They just don't care. Look at Arizona iced tea. Mm-hmm. They have kept their iced tea at 99 cents.
And same size.
And the same size, exactly. No shrinkflation. No. Arizona iced tea said, we care about the people. We're making enough money. We're not gonna raise their price. We have held the line. And kudos to Arizona iced tea. And again, I didn't bring my Arizona iced tea because I had to go to the retirement board meeting earlier. And, misappropriation of government funds, since we're on it, is a serious issue. And as a matter of fact, we know that. It's malfeasance on the part of a public. But the irony, it's like karma. What did I get today at the retirement board meeting? And if you want to check it, because we don't make stuff up. Chapter 44, Section 33A does exist. Read it. Try to interpret it. You're going to try to twist it. Chapter 43, Section 1 in the definition of an ordinance is there. Read it. You can't misinterpret that. It says it's a permanent regulation. I received this at the retirement board meeting, as we do at every retirement. We read PERAC memos. And I'll give you the memo if you want to look it up. PERAC memo number 12/2022. I'll do that again. PERAC memo 20/2022. And this is called, to all retirement boards, from the executive director of PERAC, forfeiture of retirement allowance for dereliction of duty by members. You are aware under Mass General Law, Chapter 32, Section 15, a member who is charged with misappropriation of funds or convicted of an offense related to funds of the governmental unit or system or certain enumerated crimes related to the laws applicable to his or her office or position may lose the right to his or her retirement allowance and or accumulated total deductions. They have realized that, and there's a list of public officials who've had their pension yanked because they misappropriated money, and it's a long list.
Pages worth.
Pages. So beware. Beware. You've misappropriated money, and there are consequences. Not only have you misappropriated the taxpayer money, but you are jeopardizing not only your office, but possibly your pension. So, and that's a memo. You can read it. I didn't make it up. Ironically enough, it just came at the most appropriate time. So, you know, you got to remember one thing. It gets as simple as this. If I got a contract for the firefighters and the mayor signed it and I went to the council and they didn't approve the money, I got to go back to the bargaining table. That contract's null and void. The ordinance changes that he sent down last year were not approved. You can't approve a budget because that's a misappropriation. The appropriating body did not appropriate it. Everybody knows that, except apparently our administration and our executive branch. And the city council wants to be complicit by going along with it. So, hey, that's the way it is, see.
Well,
and before you start with Hebert, I know you want to do that, but CJ and I are leaving right after the show to create the GoFundMe page. We want to get our money back for the trash, and this is chump change. This is just principle.
Right.
You know, let's make this perfectly clear. This is not a crusade against Ann O'Neill. This is about process, about legality, about following the law. And it's, even though that's a lot of money to you and I, $10,000, but in the scheme of things, in a huge multi-million-dollar budget, it's nothing. But what they've done to us on the trash collection is a lot of money. And that's our money. And we need to go to court and make them, number one, abide by the law, not only to not take care of their friends, but not to give people free trash pickup that we're paying for. So please, we will have that on the CAG site. We'll maybe have it on the Spindle City. I don't know.
Yep.
But we will have it available to GoFundMe. You know, I know, you know, what, give us a little donation because we need your money. You can fight City Hall, but the reason that nobody normally does is you can't have the money. So whether either they better light novenas that I never hit the mega bucks, because then I'll pay for the whole thing.
Well,
but you need to help us.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Real quick, because we've only got a minute and change left. Dave Hebert sold the Lincoln School and the Sylvia School, and he sold it for $850,000, and he paid $15,000 for it. And he entered into an agreement with the city to pay them $357,000. Because the city decided after all this time to activate their reverter clause, which was going to take the property away from them. Personally, I don't think Hebert should have made that much money. He made a big chunk of change. He should have gotten his $15,000 back, and the city should have taken the balance.
Yeah, well, for discussion purposes only, if you look at the quick math, at paying him 300 and some thousand, but he made 800 and some thousand. That's still about $500,000 that he made. So, you know, kudos to criminals. They always get over. We're the guys that have to pay the taxes.
Right. And they're justifying all of this. They say that more market rate housing is going to be coming. The zoning board approved 28 parking spaces for the Lincoln School instead of the required 56. Ken Fiola, Vice President of Bristol County Economic Development Consultant, spoke in favor of the renewed variance and is working with Malacone on the project. He's making money off the deal. This is the problem, people. We have the same people screwing the city. Well, just bend over, baby, and take it, because guess what? And don't worry about the lube, because you're not getting it. You're just going to take it raw. This is how bad it is in the city right now, and it's just getting worse. If we have time on Friday, we'll discuss this a little further. I want to thank you all for watching. We missed you on Monday. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. And support CAG.